Former Auckland Blues player Matt Johnson had his career cut drastically short after he nearly died from the complications of rheumatic fever. Now he's fighting to stop others from getting a disease that usually starts in childhood but can lead to heart damage and devastating long-term consequences. He's working with the health charity Cure Kids as it put a big chunk of funding into fighting the disease. Health correspondent Rowan Quinn and videographer Simon Rogers filed this report.
Matt Johnson was just 13 years old when he found out he had rheumatic heart disease. Already a keen sportsman, he went to hospital for a knock to the head and they discovered he had a massively enlarged heart. Next stop, open heart surgery.
They talked about how they open up the chest and how they need to fix or replace the aortic valve, and that was quite daunting as a 13-year-old kid.
Doctors told him he'd never play rugby or league again, but he says he was stubborn and defied the odds. In 2018, he landed his dream job, a gig with the Blues.
I felt like I accomplished what I wanted to, and I was living the dream, my childhood dream. And once I got that phone call from Tana, it was unreal. Talking with the legend, and he was the coach of the Blues, and that's the home region for me. And yeah, I felt like I finally made it.
But he only played for about a year. He had a minor heart attack, then massive surgery, waking up from a 6-day coma to find he'd almost died. That meant the end of rugby for good.
And obviously had to medically retire at the age of 26 because of rheumatic fever. And I just wish it wasn't still around, and I wish there was more awareness and just prevention. Because it's tough, man. It's tough as a young kid going through that open heart surgery, and especially not living, your best life.
Now Matt's turned his impressive determination to stopping other children and adults from going through the same thing. And he's not the only one. Researchers have been showcasing what they'll be doing with the Cure Kids money, and it's fighting the disease every step of the way. Auckland University's Jacelyn Lowe is starting at the start, developing a vaccine that would stop strep A, the common throat infection that can lead to rheumatic fever. Her team are working with others from around the world using some novel components.
For example, components that have originated from shark oil, from marine sponges, and also developing really novel cutting-edge nanoparticles to deliver the vaccine.
And child heart doctor and researcher Nigel Wilson is using a drug that's got a lot of attention because of COVID-19, hydroxychloroquine, to reduce inflammation in the heart.
In some ways it's been helpful, COVID, because they use very big doses and that they had potential side effects. So we're using the slower, long, well-proven anti-inflammatory dose that's been used in other anti-inflammatory conditions.
Another team's working on the better delivery of penicillin, which is used to stop long-term damage. At the moment, it's a painful injection to the buttock or thigh, something patient advisor Shannon Leilua remembers from his childhood.
And all I remember of it had a black tip. And that was the thickest needle to me. So, imagine, I feel sorry for what the kids have to go through these days. And if they can make it simpler, easier, less pain-free, then be a lot better for, our tamariki.
The disease has been called a national shame. It's rarely seen in the first world outside of New Zealand and Australia. Māori children are 50 times more likely to get it than Pākehā children, and Pacific children 120 times. Auckland University's Annika Anderson is leading a team that will seek solutions from young people in those communities.
So I think if this was a disease that was affecting Pākehā children, you'd get a lot stronger voice from it. You'd see communities that had a lot more privilege and resourcing to advocate for change.
And Matt Johnson says he wants to stop other Māori and Pacific kids going through what he did.
Yeah, I just don't wish it on anyone. It's long term and it's annoying, and it's just a lot of setbacks.
Mō te hōtaka o te ahiahi, ko Rowan Quinn tēnei.